And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Ultimate Werewolf, the Ultimate Edition, Part 3. Okay. It says on the back here, the name is no exaggeration. A fantastic version of Werewolf, the best there is. How do I know that? Well, because it says I wrote that comment. Well, I guess I'm predisposed to like any new edition. Well, what we're going to do here real quickly is, this won't be a long review. Well, you already know I like Ultimate Werewolf. I love Werewolf game itself. Look at my other reviews. But I'm talking about, this one includes the Night Terrors expansion, which you can also buy separately if you already got the previous game. So I just want to talk about a few of those characters and how they changed the game up. Here we go! One of the differences in this version is that you can see on the original version of Ultimate Werewolf, we have all the different people with really good pictures and everything, but it doesn't tell you exactly what they do. You can look in the book. Well, the new version, it tells you in the bottom what they do. Which kill or heal a player at night once per game. I mean, you still might have to look up in the book to see what the different roles are exactly. But for the most part, they're different. Also, the werewolf in this one, the new werewolves, they look much more threatening than the original werewolves. So, go figure. So that's what's in here. But what we want to do in this version is look at the new stuff that's come into it, or at least this small expansion which I mentioned here, about things that go boo in the night, basically. And so you can see all the old stuff that's still in there, still the vampires, which you don't use very often, but you can. So let's look at some of these things. First of all, we have the Thing. Okay, love this. Each night you tap a player sitting immediately next to you. This is a very interesting addition to the game, because what you're doing here is you're tapping someone, so hopefully that person's a villager. If they are, then they know you're a villager. So it's a very convenient. Of course, if you tap a werewolf, well, goodbye to you. But I don't know. I just think the card is hilarious. The Count, which is the evil version of Sesame Street one. That's most definitely the first night you are told how many werewolves are in each half of the village. That's so critical. Using that ability is just amazing, useful. Although, I'm trying to figure out how he's not part of the vampire team. And there's all different sorts of people that have different things that with night. But let's talk about the Insomniac. Each night, you learn if at least one of your neighbors has woken up during the night. Now, that doesn't help you too much. It could tell you whether they're a seer or whether they're a werewolf. Then we have the Dream Wolf. You don't wake at night with the other werewolves until after a werewolf is killed. Now, this one here is one of the ones that I'm not quite so keen on. It's basically just another werewolf that doesn't come out the very first night. But, you know, I'm not sure how absolutely useful that is. But, hey, it's cool, and I think we just put it in there so that we had a werewolf, which meets the aura of this Night Terrors. Here's my favorite one, though, the Boogeyman. Woo! Okay, anyway, the Boogeyman, who's now completely out of focus. If the werewolves don't agree on a target quickly, you choose a target. You win if all the night active players are dead. So, if the werewolves don't pick someone, and the moderator will give them a certain time, then the Boogeyman gets to kill somebody. And if he kills all the werewolves and seer and anyone who wakes up at night, then he wins. Whoa, this is a pain in the neck. But hey, it keeps your game moving. And I like that very much. And then we have the Beholder. The first night, they know who the seer is, which really brings an interesting dynamic to the game. So like I said, you have all these cards. And then, of course, this set does not come with the monsters, the Hollywood monsters, Frankenstein, Monster, the Mummy, the Blob, Zombie, Count Dracula, Teenage Werewolf. But you can add them in, and they fit together pretty easily. And so, once again, I'll just say that this is a great game, and you should pick up this definitive version of it.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.